Yo, what's up guys? Victor Kamanga here with another Everything Technology video. And today I'm going to take you throughout my day as I talk about the brand new M2 MacBook Air. I know a lot of you guys are curious on how it performs on a day-to-day as far as like the battery life and just performance. So today I'm going to take you throughout my day and we're going to see how the M2 MacBook Air handles. So I'm definitely starting the day off a little bit later than I expected. However, I'm still gonna get the same amount of work done. I have a shoot at like 2 p.m. Anyway, let's talk about the price tag of the M2 MacBook Air, because I know a lot of people are like, is this even worth it at $1,200? Is it that much better than, you know, the M1 MacBook Air that we got a few years back? Honestly speaking, it's probably not worth it, especially if you're trying to upgrade from an M1 MacBook Air or any M1 machine. But if you are just wanting to get a MacBook Air for the first time, it may just be worth getting the M2 MacBook Air, even though it's like $200 more than the current M1 MacBook Air. And it is sitting at such an awkward price point, considering that the 14-inch base model MacBook Pro goes for like $2,000. So yeah, throughout this day, I'm gonna let you know if it is really worth that price tag, because it is a little bit expensive for a MacBook Air and it's not that much different. You are getting a bigger display, you're getting a notch this here, and it looks just like the M1 MacBook Pros or the M1 Pro MacBook Pros. So I do like the new design change, but aside from that, it's going to be really hard for me to probably recommend it to somebody who already has an M1 machine. So yeah, we'll see how I feel about it. Okay, as I'm finishing up some breakfast and looking for Airbnbs, Miles and I are actually planning on going to Charlotte tomorrow and staying for the night. If you're in the Charlotte area, let me know down in the comment section. But anyway, let's talk about the design of this laptop. As I mentioned earlier, it has these rounded sides and it looks very similar to the new MacBook Pros. The only difference is it's a lot thinner. Like, watch. Like, it is a lot thinner, and it's 2.7 pounds, which I believe is 1.1 pounds lighter than the M1 MacBook Air that we got a few years back. Now we have MagSafe 2.0. I think it's MagSafe 2. It's nice. 2 USB-C ports on one side of the laptop. Headphone jack is still here. And as far as anything else around the device, it's pretty much a MacBook. Looks just like all the other MacBooks. You have the Apple logo back here. I have to say this new colorway looks super clean. Sometimes it gives me like this dark blue vibe depending on the lighting condition. Right now it looks more gray than black. But if I go outside, it almost looks like blue. It might be partly because of the clouds or the sun. I don't know. It just looks very different in different lighting conditions. But I have to say this is definitely my favorite colorway. So we just finished eating our brunch. I'm getting ready to head over to a shoot for this high school, which shouldn't take too long, and then I'm gonna go ahead and head over to this co-working space and get some work done on the new M2 MacBook Air. Still I be driving, and still y'all be riding. See, I don't really care about how I be feeling. Don't ask about my mileage, don't ask how my life is. And if I went rapping, I'd just be a stranger that you probably laugh at. All right, Lamar, you ready to go shoot? Everybody wanna show me back at it again. Yeah. When I was riding the bus, cute girls passed me up, and I was saying, so I just got done with my shoot. I have to go back at some point, just because they didn't really have all their plans properly, which is typically what happens with client shoots. But we made it to this co-working space. I'm gonna go ahead and get some work done on the laptop. I have a few scripts that I need to type up, which Scripting is like the worst part of the process when it comes to content creation. However, it makes my life a lot easier when it comes to just editing and everything else that requires some kind of production work. As I'm typing, something that I thought about is just the keyboard. Since I know a lot of you guys who are picking up this laptop are going to be doing a ton of typing, and Apple is known to have probably some of the best keyboards on any laptop, aside from their previous generation of laptops that had super shitty keyboards, and if literally anything got stuck under it, it was unusable, which was very unfortunate, but that's not the case anymore. The key travel is great. Feels very tactile. I haven't had any issues with it. I can type considerably fast on here. I'm not gonna do a typing test because I'm definitely not the fastest typer. And as far as a trackpad, it's what you would expect from a MacBook. It's amazing, it's reliable, very accurate, unlike Windows laptops. But at the same time, if you spent $1,200 on the laptop, it better be that good. It better be like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the script, but I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. This is so damn boring. I literally have to go back to the shoot because I have to be there at 5 o'clock. Luckily, they're like 10 minutes away from here. I'm sure some of you guys are considering picking this up for something more creative outside of just like, you know, typical work, especially if you're dropping $1,200 on a laptop. You should not drop $1,200 on a laptop if you're just gonna use it to like type stuff up. Please, just don't do that. It's not worth it. But I'm gonna leave Miles here as he's getting some stuff done. I'm gonna see you later, bro. Catch you later. Okay, so the shoot went really well. I was essentially grabbing some BRoll shots for a friend. He has a project with a local private high school, and I was just grabbing literally volleyball shots of these high schoolers playing, which was pretty cool since I don't think I've actually ever been to a volleyball game. That probably was my first one, at least like a real one. You know, I've played with friends and stuff at the beach, but not an actual like team versus another team. So, fun fact, I actually bought this house. It's gonna be a rental property, and I'm currently in the process of renovating it, so disregard any weird things going around me, like a bunch of tools back there. But I wanna actually install some smart switches that a few manufacturers sent me. So I'm gonna replace these old, annoying sounding switches into these Wi-Fi enabled ones. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this MacBook to watch a bunch of tutorial videos to figure out exactly how I'm gonna do this, because I am not an electrician, but yeah, let's try to figure this one out. And something that I do want to talk about is MagSafe. So this year you get MagSafe 2.0 with the MacBook Air, which is very much appreciated. And what I really like about MagSafe, I actually have one right here, is the fact that it just snaps. Hold on, where is it at? There we go. It just snaps and it charges. And if you accidentally knock it over, it's not gonna like pull the laptop, and you know, it's not gonna break. So that's the reason people really appreciate MagSafe. And the new wall plug has like 2 USB-C ports, which is nice. I feel like that should have always been the standard with the plugs that Apple had included in boxes. And it's just a little bit convenient because you could also charge your phone as well as charge your laptop at the same time. But let's see if I could find some videos real quick and figure out how to install these smart plugs or smart switches, because I don't really know what I'm doing. And it's probably not really that complicated because I've installed a smart plug before. So I'm hoping it's just as easy, because I may just have somebody else do this because I'm not trying to get shocked. So taking an L today because I could not figure this out. This switch has like a bunch of wires and there's only 2 in my, that's coming out the wall. I'm missing a ground wire apparently because I'm watching a bunch of YouTube videos and I'm missing a lot of different wires. And that's because this house is very old. It was built in the 40s. So at some point I'm gonna have to get a bunch of electrical work done because not having a ground wire apparently is very sketchy. So I'm gonna have an electrician figure that one out. But for now, let's talk about the performance of the new M2 MacBook Air. And it's amazing, just like last year's or the M1 MacBook Air. It's just as good, super snappy. Honestly, there's not a huge gap as far as performance. I will say when it comes to video editing, I have noticed a slight difference. It's a little smoother with handling 4K footage, and I've even put a little bit of some Blackmagic footage here on my timeline, which was shot at 4K 60 FPS, and it did a pretty good job at that. I will say when it comes to anything graphic intensive, it does not do the best job, and that's purely because there is no fan on this machine, so once it starts to heat up, it is gonna throttle, which is unfortunate, but that shouldn't be a huge issue for most people who are looking for a MacBook Air, because you're not gonna do something super crazy intensive unless you're gonna be doing some coding, and you're not gonna be doing a lot of editing. But for most video editing, this will get the job done with like A7 III footage, 4K footage. It's gonna do the job. However, when it comes to throwing a bunch of graphics in the timeline, it's just not it. Something else that I haven't really didn't really talk about is the webcam. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Let's start recording. Okay, we are now recording on the webcam, and it's now 1080p, which should be pretty great for Zoom calls. It's definitely not the best webcam. I still don't understand why Apple can't put a cell phone sensor on here with this big ass notch. I am sorry to cuss, but seriously, this is a really big notch, and that's lacking in camera quality, because literally the front-facing camera on the iPhone is 10 times better, but I don't get it. Maybe because it's super thin here. We're in 2022. I feel like at this point they should be able to figure this out, and I guess they can't. I don't know why, but aside from that, let's switch back to this camera. Thanks for watching this day in the life video. This was probably a pretty busy day and pretty stressful at the same time. This did not help. This added a little bit to the stress. But with that said, I'm gonna go back into editing on this laptop, get a video done, and go ahead and get it up on YouTube, because I also have this video that I'm currently shooting that I need to edit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. This has been Victor Kamanga with another Everything Technology video. I look forward to seeing all of you in the next one. Be sure to comment hashtag M2 Air is overpriced if you're still watching this video. When I'm on a lane night driving and you missing, baby, tell me what's missing. Why you tripping?